Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Blessedwiththisfunction.com. We are back with our friend here, Jacob Michael Graves. You can call him Jake as well. And Visions of Self-Mastery. We're going to talk today about all the work he's doing to help you. The fact he's blessed and he's focused and he's trying to teach us all the same way to be. Welcome back to the show today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today, Jewel?
I'm doing great. Would you mind giving us a little introduction to new listeners and viewers out there today?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm the founder of Visions of Self-Mastery. I ultimately created Visions of Self-Mastery to help aid in transformation. Something I really believe in is to really slow down in life in as many platforms as you possibly can. I believe this really helps you to slow down and utilize and augment the richness of time.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and thank you, Jill, for not only being a great host, but for just being a part of the conversation, being present, interactive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We want more information from you. Where do we reach out to you? Let's start there.
Yeah. So I really believe in using the mind's eye to see past to increase the threshold of perception and to deepen your understanding of your own reality and the way you perceive it. I personally do this by really honing in on mindfulness and awareness to stay vigilant of divergent energy. Have you ever heard of divergent energy before?
No, I have not.
No? Okay. So divergent energy is the energy that surrounds matter. So think of particles, pretty much. It's like a vibratory field is the way I think about it. And it's very different. It's almost like the it can be kind of I don't want to say mystical, but in a way kind of mystical, because when you experience divergent energy and you really are locked into it, it's really like you're in a different dimension. So you can really learn a lot from being in a state like that and from really just paying attention.
Yeah. Well, thanks for enlightening me and our listeners as well. It's divergent energy. So how do we manage it better? What can we do?
Oh, like I said, so really just be mindful, be aware, practice meditation. Meditation's a big thing. And especially with being aware and mindful, that really teaches you to just be in the moment and be present. And like we talked about before, a morning routine, this is really excellent to do in the morning. So like I said, it really sets the tone for the day, as well as just makes you stress resilient. Yeah, so I just think meditation is a great way to hone in on a lot of different things and aspects of your life.
And people sometimes say, well, we don't have enough time to meditate. Tell us how simple it could be, right? Because I'm the mom that runs around. I say, I'm too busy. You really could do meditation in 5 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, no. Something really good to do is you can meditate in the shower. I know that sounds really weird, but actually, especially a hot shower, showers put you in a state of theta, which is a brainwave state that is, you're actually recording, your brain is actually recording what's going on in your reality. Instead of being in your reality, your brain is taking notes on what's going on. So you're basically downloading information. So whatever you're thinking about in the shower, you're pretty much programming into your brain. So you can kind of use that to your ability. And really do some good work in a very short amount of time.
Wow. Well, that's good, because you do have time in the shower, right? As you're shampooing, as you could meditate. So what are some of the key factors to it, though, to meditate specifically? Are we talking about breathing? Are we talking about mindful thoughts? I really don't know how to meditate, to be honest. Sorry to go on a tangent, but then we'll get back to.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So yeah, breath work. There is a breath work is good, and also mindful thoughts. But there is something I practice with my breath work is yogic breathing. It is where you start in your stomach, and you really try to push your stomach out as low as possible. And then you raise it up through your chest into your shoulders, and ideally, kind of in your pineal gland. That's where you want to focus the energy. You actually have crystals in your pineal gland, and when you focus energy there, those crystals activate, and it does magical things.
Powerful.
So, yeah, there is also pranayama, which I think is great. It's very grounding, and it is where you kind of so you just alternate.
Alternate nostrils by for those of you that aren't watching us, we're alternating, holding down one of our nostrils, breathing in through one and then out through the mouth. And then again, push down the other side, breathe through the other nostril and out through the mouth.
Yes, yes. And typically I do my breathing sets in it's I think they call it the square method, because ultimately you're breathing for 4 seconds, holding it in
Mm-hmm.
for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds. And so you pretty much just rotate with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So today in today's episode, I'd really like to talk about stress again. I know we've touched on it before, but not in a way that I feel like is is good enough personally.
Sure.
So yeah, so I really want to dissect stress, and I want to teach you guys ways to self-regulate in different environments that you may find yourself in during your daily routine.
Sure.
I'd also like to read you guys a little bit from a book I'm currently writing right now, titled Beyond the Veil. Beyond the Veil prompts you to see past the contents of your reality. It also teaches you how to be your own detective. It also gives you the tools you need to take stock of your life and really just analyze where you're at, what you're doing, and gives you a good basis of information to go off of. I call it a guide for people seeking change.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we can go ahead and get into it.
Sure.
So stress has a profound effect on our physiology and biology. If you are constantly living in stress, your systems will never be in a state of homeostasis. Whether you are aware of the stress or not will determine how the stress manifests itself. Some people are so headstrong. They can maneuver through life and be so riddled with stress and still function and not know how much they are putting their body and mind through. People unfortunately underestimate stress. Underlying stress can certainly be a potential cause of death. From what I know to be true, this typically derives from a lack of self-awareness or a sense that their obligations to reality are more important than their health, so they ignore the signs of disorder. It's pretty much like, if you're one of those, I kind of used to be this way, and I think that's how I can talk so well on this is I pretty much ran myself into adrenal fatigue, and it was pretty rough. And it was really, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating right. My circadian rhythm was messed up. I was staying up studying, and I would still get up early and do it all over again. And it was really what I felt like I needed to do in that time. But so it's really like people have these driving factors in their life, and they kind of let them take control. And I notice when you go hardcore in something, that other facets of your life kind of dissipate. You stop paying attention to certain aspects of your life, and things start to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe stress typically starts off pretty minuscule at most times, especially environmental stressors. If the issue is not processed and resolved, or at least acknowledged, it will begin to tear you apart in many aspects: mental, physical, and spiritual. In hopes you will realize something is wrong and begin to realign the systems damaged by whatever issue you are facing. Disease and disorder have an energetic origin and can and should be realigned with energy and nature. If you do not listen to the signs of disorder, it moves deeper within you and starts to affect you in more ways than you could possibly imagine, and could set you up for a life filled with incoherence, disorder, and illness. And I know you guys don't want that. The human mind acts as an input-output system, a processing center. It encodes our reality and decides where the sensory information we are experiencing is placed within our body. Therefore, our body is a physical manifestation of the information processed within our mind. So literally, you are what you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. So let's talk about some ways to self-regulate in different environments, as well as ways to reduce stress in the moment and how to manage long-term stressors. So some tips for short-term stress: take a walk, take a deep breath, take a couple deep breaths. Manage your delta waves with havening. Widen your horizon, look wall to wall. And when I say look wall to wall, I do not necessarily mean literally just turn your head left or right. I mean literally widen your horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much it's kind of like you're still looking straight, but you still want to be able to see the as far, I guess, in your peripheral as you possibly can. And what this does is it initiates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. So, and another really good thing for short-term stress, if you can and are able, sprint. It is a very good stress reliever. It extremely lowers cortisol, and it gives you all those good endorphins, so it's very good. You can also turn on a binaural beat. It's music that is specifically scientifically designed to modulate your brain and replicate different brainwave states. You can practice gratitude, seek novelty, visualize the ocean or walking in the woods. For long-term stress, exercise 2 to 4 times a week. Eat well, no food-like substances. Eat close to nature. Be intentional in your actions. Meditate. Practice mindfulness. Take time in nature. Take cold showers. Supplement with ashwagandha. Phenibut is a good option too. Just make sure that that is okay with the medications you're taking if you're on any medications. But have a morning routine and be structured. For this is some tips for work stress.
Mm-hmm.
Understand your expectations. Slow down. Avoid multitasking for a while if you find yourself in a stuck or in a stressful state. Find your peace. Don't cause conflict. If you can prevent it, do it. If you are allowed, design your environment. Breathe deeply every so often and eat a good breakfast. Relationships, communicate thoroughly. Be honest, remove external stressors, get to the root of the issue. Save time for yourself, be understanding, and listen to your significant other. Trust, but don't be one-sided. And when I say don't be one-sided, you guys, everybody has their own interest in the things they like to do. So
Of course.
yeah, so you should, even if you don't necessarily like something that your significant other likes to do, at least try. At least put the effort in to try.
Expand your horizons. Yep.
Yeah, and at home, I believe some really good things to do are express yourself, decorate and design your environment, listen to music you like, clean up any clutter, organize your space, be aware and mindful of your energy, your habits, watch what you think when you're alone, especially self-talk. If you notice yourself feeling off, change what you're doing. Take walks when you feel stuck. Aromatherapy is great. You could call a friend, take action, and do the things you need to do around the house. Yeah. So
I
that
love the whole morning routine, though. Getting up, starting your day off right to me is important because it
very
kind of sets
important.
the tone for the day.
Yeah.
And waking up, another thing I do with my children is gratitude, which is being grateful. What are you thankful for today? And at night, positive affirmations. I look in the mirror. I'm beautiful. I'm
Oh yeah.
amazing. To try to do all that with them, and they think I'm crazy sometimes. Sometimes they say it. So other times they laugh and giggle. But to set up those things, it just kind of sets I don't know, emotion flowing. It's something beyond
Oh
us,
yeah,
right? The energy
yeah,
that's just there, the positivity, which is super important, I think.
yeah, yeah. Actually, gratitude has the highest energetic signature out of all, like, I guess, emotions that you can feel. So when you practice gratitude, it actually has a very, very strong effect on your physiology and your biology.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah. So next, I'd like to tell you guys about your HPA axis. Have you ever heard of that before?
Nope.
It is your stress response system. So your HPA axis, it consists of your hypothalamus, which is, I believe, right above the roof of your mouth. It is a control center. It strives to obtain and sustain homeostasis within systems of the body. It monitors your body's thermostat, energy homeostasis, food intake and regulation, circadian rhythm, hormone production and regulation. It stimulates and gives instructions regarding which actions to facilitate within many of the body systems. The P stands for your pituitary gland. Growth hormone production, production of hormones that act on all other endocrine glands, production of hormones that act on the muscles and kidneys, endocrine function and regulation, storage of hormones produced by the hypothalamus. Your anterior pituitary regulates several physiological processes: stress, growth, reproduction, lactation. These processes target organs such as your adrenal glands, your liver, your thyroid, and your gonads. Posterior stores the hormones secreted by the hypothalamus. And the A stands for your adrenals, two glands that sit on top of your kidneys, releasing the hormone cortisol. It also plays a role in metabolism, blood sugar levels, excuse me, blood pressure, salt and water balance, pregnancy, sexual development before and during puberty, your stress response, and balance of sex hormones. So, I really think HbA axis could be a very big thing, and I think it needs to be looked into more, just more in depth. So, some symptoms of HPA axis dysfunction are insomnia, poor sleep quality, trouble sleeping, falling asleep or staying asleep, weight gain, especially in the midsection, brain fog, thyroid dysfunction, depression or anxiety, hypoglycemia or other blood sugar problems, all day fatigue, particularly in the morning and mid afternoon. So if you find yourself crashing at anywhere from 2 to 4 o'clock, your adrenals are probably struggling. A depressed immune system, recurring illnesses or infections, cravings for salt or salty food or sweet foods, dizziness when standing, and also called orthostatic hypotension, blood sugar or excuse me, blood pressure issues, inflammation, a rise in allergies, food, chemical, or environmental, low libido, poor muscle tone or loss of muscle mass, dry skin, slow wound healing, inability to concentrate and focus, memory problems, cold hands and feet. Face it, the government has created a world that thrives off its relationship with our chemically imbalanced society, and we either love it or we are engulfed by it. So yeah, I mean, don't you think that that is a lot of things that the world could
Could
potentially deal with?
benefit from. Yeah. I mean, I've never heard of that until today again. So you're teaching not only our listeners, clearly myself, about all these techniques and what you have in store. By the way, just for those out there who are wondering, your book, you're in the process of still writing it, or is it technically done?
No, it is. I'm still technically writing it.
Okay. Do you have
So
any? Oh, wow.
here's
Beyond
what
the
it looks like.
veil.
Beyond the Veil, and it's like got a word cloud of just a bunch of things that I've either struggled with, or the things I'm very passionate about, or it's got
Mm-hmm.
some it's kind of like a sneak peek. So
Well, thank
I
you
can
for sharing it.
yeah, I don't honestly, I don't know if I'll publish it. I will probably work on this for my whole entire life, and it is something I give to my clients for free. So it I just think it's I don't really want to charge people for it. I think this is information that everybody should have access to. So this is why I don't know if I'll publish it or not,
Hmm.
unless it just turns out to be something that really just needs to be out there. But we'll
Got it.
figure that out. So, chapter one is inflammation and general health. Chapter two, mitochondria. Chapter three, affective spectrum disorders and mitochondrial dysfunction. Chapter four, stress, existential and oxidative. Chapter five, signs of hormone imbalance and HPA axis. Chapter 6, neuroanatomy of these manifestations. Chapter 7, key neurology for support. Chapter 8, psychology. Chapter 9, foods to eliminate slash nutritional facts. Chapter 10, micronutrients. Chapter 11, I titled It's Time to Thrive Neurologically. Chapter 12 is the hierarchy of life. Chapter 13 is your gut and brain connection, which is very interesting. Chapter 14, let's explore the nervous system. Chapter 15, gene expression due to lifestyle. Chapter 16, collecting facets of consciousness for optimal performance. Chapter 17, high performance tips. Chapter 18, your mind is like a remote. Program it how you like. Chapter 19, life beyond the veil. Chapter 20, you can have roots and wings at the same time if you know what you're doing. Chapter 21, trauma repair. Chapter 22, things to be aware of when moving up the hierarchy of life. So in this, I really take you guys through disorder and dysfunction, and then I tell you guys that it really doesn't have to be this way if you don't want it to be. There are things you can do in your life to change things around, and there is a right way to live and there's a bunch of wrong ways to live. So I read a quote the other day, and it was like the the would you rather have the craving you or the food you've been craving for 5 minutes, or would you rather have the body you've craved for a lifestyle? So
Mhm.
that's just a little something. So next, unless you guys have any more questions about my book.
No, please. I want you to continue. We have 6 minutes left. I want to make sure we get into all your content. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see here. I want to tell you guys a little bit about functional medicine. Have you ever heard about functional medicine before?
Yes, I have.
Have you? Okay, cool. Awesome. So I would like to a little compare and contrast between functional medicine and Western medicine. Functional medicine focuses on identifying and addressing the root cause of disease. Driven by systems biology, it is a science of creating health and addressing the chronic disease. Functional medicine is not about treating disease, but rather creating health, and as a byproduct of creating health, we support our body's natural healing processes, and symptoms of disease resolve themselves. Functional medicine is really about disease prevention, and so real disease prevention is teaching people how to stay well and how to make lifestyle choices that promote health and resilience. Western medicine evolved during a time when acute infectious disease were the main cause of suffering and death. This is when antibiotics were developed. In today's world, we luckily do not struggle as severely with acute infectious disease. Rather, the disorders we see today are typically chronic and have many driving factors, which is why the etiology of most disease and disorder are still widely unknown. This is why the way we practice and view healthcare is outdated. The world is still instilling and enforcing old principles. We're applying the same level of intellect in an aspect of our life that has mutated beyond the point of recognition and understanding. We need to look at diet, lifestyle, and environment. Look at health and disease as a spectrum. Disease can be found months, even years before symptoms appear in your life. So my question is, why are we waiting until it's too late? Why not implement and develop a more individualized therapy and plans that attune and educate people on their genetic makeup while monitoring biomarkers incrementally to ensure you are not Turning on the genes that signal disease and disorder. Around 98% of your genes have an on and off switch. Healthy aging and disease prevention is the result of how we can communicate with our genes. I think that's so fascinating that that our genes have that 98% of our genes have an on and off switch, and it basically the thing that initiates your genes to basically ultimately to be expressed, and what ultimately decides what genes take the reins is lifestyle, the food we eat, the environment we live in, the toxins we consume, the air we breathe, the words we speak, the things we believe in, how we react to and handle stress, and even the thoughts you think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's really crazy. I think genetics is really going to be the future. I think when we get a grasp on genetics and begin to really, like I said, develop personalized, individualized therapies and attune ourselves to how to communicate with our genes properly, how to like just take care of our genes, because I think that's something that we're not doing right now.
No, absolutely not. And a lot of things we do to our body are not good for us. Like you mentioned, lifestyle is so important, and the fact that that actually can affect your genes. People say, "Oh no, I'm just made that way. It's genetic," but no, our choices influence how our genes are going to operate and to work, which is awesome.
Your genetics are not your destiny.
Yeah, that's true.
They definitely are not. So, let's see.
Yep, got 2 more minutes left. I'm sorry, we're almost out of time.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So I excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Looking for something right now.
Take your time. I can remind everyone that we're talking to you. Jake Graves here is on the line, also live on the Zoom call. So for those of you just listening to us, I'm also seeing him face to face today, and it's just good. I think better communication. If we want to reach out to him, the website once again is what?
Blessed with Dysfunction. And I actually changed my Instagram name to make it easier, because I realized that the way I had it set up was a little bit probably hard to find me. So
okay, what is it?
I changed my Instagram name to Self Mastery 3. That's it. No underscores, no capitalization, just Self Mastery 3.
Perfect. Good to know. Yeah. And in closing today, what do you want to leave with us?
I would just like you guys to, I'd like to leave you guys with just, I'd like to challenge you guys, start to pay attention to your reality more and pay attention to what you're consuming. And I really encourage you to take stock of your life and just to really ask yourself, what does your body need? What do you need to stop doing? So just believe in yourself, guys, and trust and have fun. Life is meant to be beautiful. So.
Yep. And don't forget, you're blessed, you're focused. What else? You're amazing. Like I tell my kids, like it's science behind you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, for joining us again, and for diving further into the potential and possibility for each and every one of us, which why shouldn't we all be living our best lives ever, right? That's what you're here to do, to help people do that. Jake Graves, thank you again. And to all of our listeners, stay tuned. We appreciate you. We'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.